Hi, welcome to another episode of Painting Happy Little Minis. I'm your host, Dave, and with me today is not Rick, it's Mia.
Hi guys, how are you?
Excellent. So today we're going to be, I guess, playing a little bit of catch-up, because Rick's been slacking, really, is the main reason.
Always.
You can believe that.
I can, yeah,
you can believe it. So we've got a few things to finish off. I'm going to be working on the ATST, painting off up some of the cables and doing other little weathering bits and pieces. Mia, you're going to be working on...
I got the speeder bikes, and then I've also got the air speeder here, so I'm going to try and not mess up your really awesome paint job that you've already started on. So.
Well, the amusing part is that it's Rick's really awesome.
Oh, okay, so then that's okay if I ruin it.
Totally fine to Rick, mess it up. Well, not really, because all of, I'm not sure if you know, all of our, the pieces that we're working on for this Star Wars Legion month that we've been doing are all being given away.
Oh, that's awesome.
We've got a competition on, if you head to the Game Trade Media or the Painting Happy Little Minis group Facebook pages, the pinned post at the top should tell you all about the Gleam campaign that we've got going on.
Oh, that's awesome.
Sort of boost our social media presence. But yeah, everybody's got a chance to win everything from the Star Wars Legion Wave 1 releases, basically.
Very cool.
So we're pretty excited about that.
Yeah.
I'm going to move this down and we can get started on
All right.
everything. If you need to check anything out, I often check out the back of the box there.
Actually, what I've been using is I got the little cards from the game.
Oh, cool.
So I've been using these so that way I can kind of see what colors I need to do things with. So
Yep. That's neat.
that actually helps out a lot.
So which ones have we got there?
So I've got the speeder bike, rapid reinforcements, and the stormtroopers. Figured that give me a little bit of an idea of where to go with the painting.
Cool.
Since I'm doing the black on the speeder bikes.
That's neat. Yep, that's definitely a good idea. I grabbed the cards and had a look at them as well, but the ATST, fortunately, it just looks grey. So I must be on the right track.
There you go.
Awesome.
Todd from Todd Davenport says, "Do all of these models come in one box?"
Not all of the ones that we're working on today. Today we have the ATST is in a separate box. The T-47 Airspeeder that Mia's working on is in a separate box. Comes in a separate box as well. But everything else, or almost everything else that we're working on, comes in the Legion box set. So there are 14 Rebel Troopers, 14 Stormtroopers. There's Darth Vader. There's Luke Skywalker. There are 2 of the speeder bikes. And there's one of the AT-RT, which is this one down here. That guy. So all of those come in this core set, which I think is $89.99. Launches on the 22nd. So just over 2 weeks away. 2 weeks on Thursday. So it should be super cool. For those of you who are going to Adepticon, in 2 weeks' time, I'll be helping out with the sort of all the hobby fun that we'll be doing on Thursday morning and Friday morning. All the Star Wars Legion sort of launch hobby stuff. We'll be sitting down, putting models together, maybe doing some spraying and some quick painting and that sort of thing. So that should be a lot of fun. So if you're at Adepticon, drop by and say hi. So that'd be cool. So let's jump in. Let's get started. So you're going to work on the black there.
And I've been really amazed at all the detailing on these. So I haven't seen you guys actually paint any of these. So this is my first time seeing them, and I'm just like, I mean, I painted miniatures like way back in the day, and now that there's like the little tufts of grass and everything, and all the little detailed work. You put eyes on on them.
Yep.
It's amazing.
It is cool. The miniatures have just become more detailed over the years, and there's a lot of different companies doing some great accessories, some great additional products, some hobby products like the tufts that we talked about. We've got a whole stack of tufts here, but the Army Painter Battlefields XP set. These are the Wasteland tufts. So we thought we could either go with the Wasteland tufts here, or what were the other ones that I was looking at? Here we go. The Mountain tufts, which are just sort of the very dry looking grass. we decided to go for these because of the they have the two-tone thing going on, and the darker grass around the base looks a little bit more alien.
Yeah.
So a little bit more fitting for Star Wars,
so
I think.
Cool. I just want to make whole landscapes now. Like, can we just make a whole landscape that they battle in?
Oh, for sure. I think we could.
That's awesome.
But actually, yeah, speaking of landscapes and that sort of thing, next week we're going to be working on terrain. So on Tuesday, I'm going to be joined by Jake Landis, who's a friend of mine who has actually done professional terrain building.
Oh, wow.
We used to work together back at Games Workshop, and he built a lot of tables and terrain and scenery and that sort of thing. So it's going to be very cool to work with him. What we're going to be working on, I'm going to pull this in. So quite a few people viewing will probably recognize this as an electrical junction box or a light switch box or something like that. But basically you can pick these up from hardware stores or sort of big box stores like Home Depot for pretty cheap. And we're just going to take this. I've got some spray primer that is a sort of bonds to plastic primer. So we'll spray it with that first because this plastic is quite different to the plastic that the miniatures are made out of and doesn't like to sort of hold on to paint. So the bonds to plastic stuff will be good. And then after that, we'll hit it with some textured primer as well. So it looks like it's made out of mud,
nice.
Basically, or sand or that sort of thing. And then go to town painting it. So that should be fun. We'll work on that on Tuesday. And then on Thursday next week, I've got Brian Delaney coming in. And we're going to work on some scatter terrain that is basically MDF laser cut terrain.
Oh, cool.
So all things that start out flat packed, but just punch them out of a sprue and build them up into really cool sort of 3D pieces. So we'll go through and we'll paint those. So it should be a lot of fun.
Neat.
Excellent. So now that I've talked about all those things, I'm going to steal some of that black.
Yes.
And come back and paint on the... Oh. Look at that. There we go. I'll bring that back over. And now I've gone and lost my brush. There we go.
Gotta put my concentration face on.
Just remember that at the end of this, we're going to be writing your name underneath the base.
No. So people are going to know which one was
People
mine.
are going to know whose is whose.
Oh, I apologize now in advance, guys.
That's okay. Just blame all the terrible parts on Rick.
There you go.
So that one will have Rick and Mia on it. Should be cool. So, I noticed as well that you were wearing a Star Wars T-shirt.
Yes, I had to support.
Good luck on our part. Or?
Exactly.
Awesome.
I think I just got lucky that I had it with me today.
Excellent. And I think since we last saw you, the trailer for Solo.
Oh yeah.
So what do you think?
I'm excited. I'm really excited to see the different storyline, something new. I'm really excited for it.
Excellent. We've been Rick and I have been talking a bit about it and talking about things like fan response and so on, just a general sort of thing. But I think he and I both decided that we're just excited to see more Star Wars.
I'm the same way. I think it's one of those. You have to look at it from a whole different viewpoint and perspective, and it's a whole new series. Oh. So I think I'm really excited to see where they take it.
Yeah, should be good.
Any chance for more Star Wars stuff, honestly.
Exactly. And one thing I'm not sure if you've seen, but if you haven't, you'll need to go and check it out, is a fan sort of recut of that trailer.
Oh, I haven't seen that.
Set to Sabotage by the Beastie Boys.
Oh, okay. I need to see that. That's awesome. Yes.
It's pretty fantastic.
What I'm going to do after this is I can go look that up.
Yeah.
I really like the fan-made trailers sometimes for stuff because, one, it's a different outlook,
Yep.
I think you get to see exactly what everyone's ideas of whatever they're making the fan video of, what their interpretation is.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's fun that somebody's taken the time and sat down and spent a couple hours or several days working that through and cutting it, particularly when they've got good editing skills.
Which I don't.
Nor do I.
And that's why I do the videos with these guys.
Exactly. It's very nice to have good editors to work with.
Yep. People that know what they're doing more than me.
So, actually, speaking of editors, I'm going to just check with one of our editors now. Leona, how are things going in the chat? Who's here?
Good. Malcolm is here. Jason is here. Craig. Daniel. Todd. My phone is going in and out of service, but yeah.
Okay.
Guys.
Yeah. Here in up here in Baltimore, we had, well, actually, I guess we could say Mid-Atlantic and Northeast. We had huge storms on Friday night, or Friday through Friday night, and I think we lost power here, which impacted the internet.
Yes.
Impacted the Wi-Fi in particular. So
Yeah,
a little bit of struggling.
I got lucky. I was out of town for most of that, but I saw pictures from my friends back at home of, damage to their house. I had one friend where a tree branch actually fell through their roof.
Oh wow.
But luckily no one was injured, but it was an insane storm, I heard.
Yeah, yep, definitely was. I live in an area of the city where generally we don't get affected much by storms at all, no matter how bad they are. But this one actually knocked over a tree on our street.
Oh, wow.
And they fortunately knocked it right down on the footpath, on the sidewalk. So it landed between the houses and the cars on the street.
That's good at least.
So, yeah. And then, of course, it meant that one of my neighbors could get his chainsaw out and go and slice it up for us, which was good.
All right, so it looks like their gloves are black as well. I'm like trying to keep this thing going the right way. I don't know how you do this with these tiny brushes. My hands are shaking.
If you're finding you're having trouble with that, actually, one of the other things you can do is, so you've got, resting your hands like that is really good, but connecting your hand. So,
let's see.
Yeah, nice sort of firm sort of anchor
helps.
position. Yep. Of course, when you're working with an ATST, it's a little bit difficult. Definitely.
It's always like, how do people that do miniatures, how do you keep your hands from shaking? And like, especially like the dots on the eyes. Like, how did you dots on eyes?
One of the things that we talked about once or twice before, but one of the easiest things to do when you're painting eyes, is go through, paint the whites of the eyes in first, just as a little sort of oval shape, little dab. But then, rather than trying to paint models that are looking forward, sort of just like straight ahead, you paint them so they're looking to the side. So if I'm looking at you, my pupil is in the corner of my eye.
Yeah.
So you've got a spot to go for.
Dot.
You don't have to. You can just put it in that dot in the corner. You don't have to try and get it sort of
Gotcha.
right in the middle.
So your characters don't end up looking like this.
Yeah, you don't want to have that. So.
My cross eyes here. It should probably be what mine would look like, but that's all right.
Jason says, still impressed by the size of the ATST.
Oh yeah. It's. I think even once it's going to be on the playing with it on the table, moving around, it's going to just keep being impressive. It is huge. Check that out.
That's like a statue in and of itself. Like I would like after the game is over, I would still put that on my shelf and just display it.
Yep. Yeah, for sure. That's good. that filter that we put on it on last Thursday would basically thin down a lot of a brown wash with some of the Army Painter Quick Shade Wash Medium, which still basically allows that wash to, it keeps the surface tension of it, but it just reduces the amount of pigment sort of across the thing, so you can get these nice sort of fades down the side.
I want these paints for cosplay. Can we get them to make them in bigger bottle sizes for cosplayers?
You mean you need something larger than 17 milliliters? Surely not. It's like half an ounce, so it's plenty. No. What sort of size do you think?
Well, I don't know. I mean, because stuff like that would be great for armor. Like, you know, being able to have those kind of washes. Because, you know, when we make armor, we just use acrylic. So it's a lot of just watering down paints. And like, to get a finish like that on a piece of armor would be amazing.
Right.
But I feel like you'd go through like 8 bottles.
Yes, you
bottles.
would. You would. For sure. You'd have to empty them all out into a cup to start working with it.
Maybe that's something we should talk to them about.
Yeah, that's an idea.
Cosplay lines of paint for different types of effects.
So, Army Painter, if you're watching, let's get on that.
That would be amazing.
I think you answered this, but Kenan asks, "Hey Dave, what was the base color you used for the ATST?"
The base color, we primed it black, and then sprayed over it with the Army Painter Uniform Gray spray, and then finally I hit it with an airbrush on some of the higher sort of edges there with a lighter gray. If you check out, when did we start on it? Was it Thursday?
Yes.
It might have been Thursday. So Thursday show, the last show, if you go back in our YouTube channel and check out, is that on the Game Trade Media YouTube channel?
Yep.
Excellent. So if you go and have a look at last Thursday's episode, there are some photos in there, some dodgy photos that I took while I was priming the models.
David should also be on the Game Trade Media Facebook page.
Oh, okay. Yep.
Under videos.
Cool. Okay. Yep. Absolutely correct. I don't know where you guys put all these things. I don't watch them. Why would I need to? I lived it.
You're like, I was already there.
Take away my memories that only I have. Yeah. It wasn't that funny. Stupid, yes, but funny, no. So the Army Painter Gray spray was really perfect for it. But one thing you can do if you don't have an airbrush, you can get a large sort of flat brush. I mean, this one's probably about half an inch, but if you go to like Michael's or AC Moore or other sort of hobby or craft stores like that, and you can get some larger, softer brushes, you could dry brush that highlight sort of along the top edges and along the tops of the legs, rather than basically using that instead of an airbrush. It'd be a good way to go.
There we go.
I think.
Oh God, gotta paint those goggles.
Yeah. How's it looking there?
It's looking good. Okay, dot. Little dots. That's basically
Tiny dots. Yeah.
I have a question for you, Dave.
Sure.
What are the advantages of using an airbrush?
The advantages of using an airbrush. There are a couple of advantages. One is you can get larger, sort of smoother coats, paint on faster. So if you're painting a lot of models that are all the sort of the same color, if you're doing a big army of stuff, starting with like an airbrush, will give you that. Using a spray can can give you the same sort of thing, but there are limited colors you can use for that. So with an airbrush, you can mix any sort of colors that you want to have. Also, then when you're working with highlights, particularly on larger models, you can get a nice smooth transition. I mentioned before using dry brushing instead of airbrushing. You've got to be very careful with that dry brushing though, because if you don't get enough paint off the brush, or if you move, so you're doing a brush in an odd angle, you might get streaks going across the model. So that's something else an airbrush can do for you. They can be fairly tricky to get the hang of. I know I've been messing around with mine sort of on and off for the last couple of years, and I need to sit down with a professional airbrusher and have some lessons, I think.
Yeah, I have an airbrush. I'm really horrible about cleaning it out. And then they get clogged, and then I'm just like, well, do I clean it or do I just buy a whole new airbrush?
How long is this going to take me?
Yeah.
That's that was the thing that always sort of stopped me from doing it. It's like, I've got to spray, like put in a little bit of paint, spray it, and then clean it out, and then put in a little bit of paint, spray it, and clean it out. It's like this. I'm spending more time cleaning than I am painting. But it was like, okay, I know that it's going to improve my painting or improve the things I can do with my painting.
Oh yeah, it does so much.
Yeah. So, but that was, it's like I just got to suck it up, really. Yep.
Chris says, makeup foundation brushes I have yank from my wife work great for dry brushing large areas.
Yep.
I could see that.
Yep. Some of those big ones, definitely.
Now, do they win these exact ones that we're painting?
They do.
I'm sorry. If you get mine, I'm sorry. I'm drawing.
That's okay.
Like,
it's all fine. Fine. It'll be the unique set.
See that one stormtrooper that looks different from all the other ones? That's the one I did.
That'll be just fine.
The one that's cross-eyed. But maybe that would actually make them hit better. Like they might not miss.
I think they might have a rule in the game, which is the only stormtroopers are so precise.
James says, "Hi all, I'm in the house."
Hey, James.
He says no Rick today.
Nope. We left him outside.
We banished him.
It's a lovely day here for Rick. It's about 45 degrees. It's perfect weather for him, so he's out running around in the parking lot.
It's so cold.
You know, he loves it. He loves
I
the
know,
cold.
but that's because, he's a big guy.
He is a big
withstand
guy.
it. I'm like freezing all the time.
He is a big guy. I wouldn't be standing out in it, but that's Rick. No, we were joined by Mia today. Mia has been you'd been doing some videos for Comic Wow.
Yep, been doing some Comic Wow videos today. It's my time of, I was going to say my time of the month at the office, but that sounds really bad. But it's my time to come filming up at the office, which is always fun.
Excellent.
Get to visit with everyone and see all the new toys and paint with you guys.
Yep. No, I think it's super cool. Yep. So we just we invited Mia in to help us out. Wrapping up. Basically, what we're trying to do is wrap up some of the models we've got on the go. So the speederbikes, or at least the pilots for them, the riders, and the air speeder. I have to finish off this awesomely huge ATST. So that's hence the change in lineup.
I think they were hoping that my cosplay experience would really help, but I don't know how much that's going to help with this. I usually work on painting armor that's on a much bigger scale than this.
This is true. This is
like armor for ants.
But at least when I said the undersuit needs to be black, that's all I had to say. I didn't have to explain anything else to you about that. So.
There we go. Oh, God. Oh, it was falling. All right. Butterfingers.
So I'd have to go through and explain that to Rick.
Well, it's one of those cool things that I noticed when I started doing the painting Happy Little Minis with you guys is how similar painting this is and like the different techniques. So you're like, dry brush this. And I was like, oh, I know how to do that. I was like, I got that. Cool.
Yep. It's all pretty similar, but it's just the scaling and the things you have to worry about at different scales.
You told me about how you guys got the paint on this, so the paint job on this, and then how this is actually dabbed on with the sponge, which I hadn't thought about how that works, and I could actually totally apply that for cosplay, just dabbing it on the edges, because I love that finish that is on there.
Yeah, yep. That works really well. Particularly, small sponges there at this scale sort of, you can do that with larger sponges, obviously.
Yeah. So I'm totally going to take that idea and steal it and use it for cosplay now. So thank you.
You are welcome. The one of the things that I tend to do a lot is I do a lot of sponging with that dark brown. So it looks like the top layer of paint is chipped off and revealed the primer coat, the original primer coat.
Butterfingers.
But if you wanted to take it all the way through, like if what you're painting is a metal, you want to take it all the way through, you could do the brown sponge first, and then come back with a metallic paint like a silver or whatever, and sponge over the top, just a little bit
it's
lighter.
Like peeling off.
So yeah, it's gone through the next layer of paint.
I like it.
There's a thing there. Or if you wanted to, if you had got a fairly dark sort of color, like a dark brown or a dark red, or you're into dark blue, just sponging that like a brighter silver onto that just picks that out as a great highlight. So what I'm doing at the moment is just hitting this with a little sort of extra thing of, I'm going to move some of these things out of the way. So we've got some black wash, a little bit of black paint sort of mixed in there. And then in some of these areas around the weapons, just adding a little bit of extra detail.
This guy kind of done on there. Wait, are their butts black? I don't see a picture of their butt. I don't know.
It's because they're sitting down in all the pictures.
Know.
I would go with
like
I would paint them with butts black.
Yeah.
For sure.
I feel like that's part of their pants.
Yep.
I'm sorry.
If they've got armored butts.
Yeah. Hey, that would be a sensitive spot to get shot in.
It would be, but it means that you're sort of expecting them to run away, right?
Hey, well, when they can't shoot, the least they can do is run away.
Run away.
Retreat.
Yep. So.
And I like that these are two separate pieces, like, you know, the speeder bike.
Right, yep.
I like that they're two separate pieces and they just kind of click together.
I'm going to grab a little bit of this, one of the go-tos, Vallejo red leather. Yeah. Thin it down a bit. And then on the back of the ATSD, you can see the fans here. I'm going to just give those a little bit of a work in with those. Just add another pop of color on the back of all of this gray.
I think this little guy's pretty done for the undercoating, so let him dry before I pop him back on his speeder bike.
Yep. Okay, so
I got him kind of done there.
He's looking good. Very cool.
Butt done. There we go.
Yep. Nice. Looks like he's just ready to smash into a tree.
Oh, short-lived.
Yeah. Okay. How does that look? What do you think?
Oh, that looks good.
Cool.
I love it. I love, like, it looks like you've got, like, you know, residue from like, all the dust and stuff that's been coming out of there.
Yeah.
How tall is the ATST, I believe Canon is referring to?
Yeah. Basically, this one, the way that we've got it sitting at the moment is about 8 inches, 8.5 inches. But you can extend it up to like 12 inches, 12.5 inches if you want a really tall one that's going to look over some trees or something, or over other buildings. So I think you could probably take it down a little bit lower. It's got a lot of points of articulation, and I don't think did I glue?
Yeah.
I did glue them last time around. Oh no, didn't glue all of them. So yeah, I could take it up a little higher.
That's horrifying.
So, yeah. So yeah, pretty neat. So looking good. So the next thing we need to do with this, which I'll probably end up doing at home, is painting the other weapons that go. I say I'll do it at home because I keep forgetting to. take these home and prime them. But things like the this will go in. There we go. This will also give you an idea of how sort of tight those joints are. It's just a layer of spray primer has made it difficult to push these in. So there we go. So a little concussion grenade launcher and like a quad laser or something like that.
That's really cool.
So they'll be neat once they're done up.
Yeah, I would just paint that and then display it when you're not playing. It's so
yeah, for
cool.
sure. Yeah. So I think now I'm going to jump in and do the basing. I've done some basing there. And
Dave, one thing I want to say about that model or that miniature is that for a figure that pretty much already started out as gray, you've added a lot of definition through the techniques to actually bring that thing to life.
Yeah, it does. There's just a few simple things that we've done on it to sort of really help that. But yeah, it is amazing that you can. It's like you can take it from gray to gray with a lot of depth.
I love it. That is really
That's
cool.
look neat. Yep. Hooray! Thank you, Empire, for your lack of imaginative paint jobs. So.
No, if you wanted to, could you could put like blaster marks and stuff on that. Have you ever done blaster marks?
Not really. No, I haven't done a lot of that sort of thing. Not too much. But yeah, good. I think on the front of the speeder box, there are some cool sort of examples of it. I think we've got it over here. So, and the back behind there. Oh. So thank you. Yeah, so I'll put this under the front there. So we've got some scorch marks there. We do that kind of thing. On the speeder, it's a little bit easier because obviously there's an impact point, and because of the angle, it's sort of has a fairly standard sort of pattern for scraping back. But I think for the ATST, it'd be more sort of flat panel sort of damage. But yeah, you can definitely do it. There's I think in some of the photos that I was looking at online before we started painting it last week, there's a great picture that we saw that had like a big dent across, as if that front panel had sort of buckled in. There we go. Doing actions with hands, but moving them off camera. Yay! There we go. So the front had buckled in like that. So that'd be pretty neat. So I might try that on my own personal version once I get hold of that.
Is that painted on?
No, it was in. I think it was from a photo from one of the movies, probably from Empire.
Oh.
Probably from Empire Strikes. No, Return of the Jedi. Sorry. Yeah.
Would you paint it or create?
I think with that, I'd like to
dent it.
I'd like to actually dent it. Yeah. Probably. I'd probably mess around with and heat it up with like a heat gun, and then get some sort of metal skewer or rod to sort of push into it, which would be pretty. Get it from an angle like that.
Yeah.
So that'd be neat. And then of course there's always the idea of getting the completely crushed ATST by ramming two huge logs into it. But I think that'd be good. So I keep moving this away because I really don't want to paint some of the yellow. Normally I'd put the yellow onto the palette and thin it down a little bit, but we've got such a large area on the base here. I'm just going to run some of it over like that.
Looks like mustard.
It does. I enjoy painting with mustard. I missed that. What was that, Johnny? Yeah. Oh, right, okay.
No.
Johnny
You're
has a
saying don't eat the
2-year-old.
yellow snow? So at least this way it's nice and look at that nice and quick.
I think I might have missed this before, but where are they supposed to be, like in Star Wars Legion?
Okay. Star Wars Legion doesn't have a specific setting.
Oh, okay. So you guys are.
You can go wherever. Yeah. Most people, I think, will go for a desert setting or like an indoor setting, a forest setting, because they're two very iconic sort of pieces. We've gone for a desert setting, mainly because we thought it would be quite a cool approach, and also terrain is a little bit easier to do for a desert than it is for a forest. But yeah, I think those are the two most popular. Once it sort of really gets going, I think once we get this, like the snow troopers and that sort of thing, there'll be a lot of different options. We'll see a lot of people doing different things. I know some people are planning to do sort of like the interior of a spaceship, so it could be a Star Destroyer or Death Star or something like that. That's going to be their focus. Or it could be on a mining planet or a planet like Coruscant. Coruscant. Okay. I got it right the first time. Don't doubt yourself, Dave. So, yeah, I think there's a lot of options, a lot of opportunities. And I think there are probably people who are going to do something that's becoming more popular with miniature wargaming is basing the miniatures on clear acrylic sort of circles, so that you can then put those on any sort of table, and they kind of blend in. So I think particularly with this, it will be quite popular.
Yeah, Jason says, it's difficult to pick a setting for the basing when snowtroopers are coming and Veers, etc. It will be a shame to have mismatched the bases.
Right, yep.
So he said clear acrylic bases could be the option, of course. Just
yeah.
Right.
Spot on.
Now for the speeder bikes, you were saying about putting some detailing on here?
Yeah, so pretty much sort of in a similar way that we did the, what do you call it, you could do some sponging if you wanted to, sort of around areas that are going to where the pilot's going to be getting, or the rider's going to be getting on and off, or might get sort of knocked against other bikes if they're all sitting together. Or this one, yeah, on the pick on the back here, you can see, I'll hold that up.
There we go.
To zoom in.
Yeah.
We've got a lot of sort of scratching on the front. So basically, let's tilt it a little bit. There we go.
There we go.
So on the front of the bike here,
gotcha.
you can see the scrapes with the that silver.
That's just a lot of bugs hitting the windshield.
Yeah, pretty much. It's screaming through all those.
It's just all bugs.
That sort of underbrush.
All right, so I probably want to do like a silver then.
Yeah.
So let's see.
So
gunmetal.
Probably the gunmetal.
Sure.
Let me dig around. What's going to be hiding at the bottom of the box?
It's just like everything in my purse. Doesn't matter what size purse you use, everything falls to the bottom.
There we go. Who wants to guess which paint I was digging for? Anyone?
What is that one?
Vallejo Model Air Aluminium.
Aluminium.
I said tinny tin.
What'd you
Tinny
say?
tin?
Tinny tin.
Tinny tin.
No, I wasn't handing it to Rick, so it could be Tinny Tin or Brassy Brass. But yeah, I think that aluminum will get a nice sort of contrast against the brown.
It's just a dry brushing technique that you use, basically.
I think
for that.
I'd probably just sort of streak that on, or basically put some paint on the edge of the brush. I'll show a sort of larger example here, and I'll move this one out of the way. Just using that black, put it on your brush, and then on the edges, just run it along like that.
Okay.
and you can sort of dot it so it looks like stretches, and then on the for those streaks, I just sort of pull those back a little bit with the tip of the brush.
Gotcha. All right.
That's what I'd go for. Something like that.
New techniques. I'm learning new stuff today.
That's good. And of course, picking that up, I've got now desert yellow all over my hands.
Carl says, I thought about clear bases, but I have a hard enough time getting my fingers based without having to contend with a base I can't paint to cover the glue marks / missing feet.
Okay. Yep. I think one of the another go-to sort of color scheme for the bases might be something just a little bit darker than the desert bases that we've done. So if we look at that ATRT down the front, it's quite light there. That's where we started with the base of the desert yellow and dry brushed up with some lighter colors. If you started with a dark brown, I'd probably start with like a Vallejo charred brown, and then dry brush that up with beige brown, and then maybe something like a desert yellow as the final dry brush, and put some maybe some tough, if you're putting tufts on, or if you're putting other sort of grasses on, some tufts that are maybe more this sort of color. So the lowland shrubs there. So they're kind of green, but you can then dry brush these with a little bit of a lighter bone sort of color. And then you'll have a base that I think would work well in for desert, for sort of woodlands, for redwood forests, or a lot of external environments that weren't your specifics, like snow planet or.
It could cross over into a lot of.
You've got more flexibility with it, yeah, for sure. It could be an area of Tatooine. It could be on Endor. I think that'll work.
Just do it on Kashyyyk with a bunch of big. Just do it on Kashyyyk and have like a bunch of big Wookiees walking.
Right. Yeah. Yep.
James says, almost time to run away again.
Thank you for dropping by, James.
Thank you, James.
You haven't told us what your workmates thought of last Thursday's 100th episode. James got all of his workmates to watch the show as well.
Nice.
So, that was cool. Actually, could you pass over the speeder, the air speeder?
Thomas says, if they do Hoth Rebels, in parentheses, I kind of hope they don't, he'll put them on clear bases.
Right. Okay. Why does he hope they don't?
He says they're really just normal troopers in warm clothing.
Right. So it's actually there's these rebel troopers. There are a couple of the alien with the blue skin. His uniform has a lot of quilting on it, so that would look perfect in that sort of that Hoth look. Maybe he wouldn't, because he doesn't have a hat on. His head's sort of big bulbous blue head's gonna get a little bit cold. I think actually what I'm gonna do here.
Jason says, I almost feel like they have to do Rebel Hoth troopers with the rest of the range they have.
Pretty much. I would agree there. I think they would have to do it. But I think it's going to be exciting to sort of see so much stuff that they could bring out for it. But of course, I get the feeling that the big thing that's going to help differentiate each force is who's leading it. So is it General Organa or is it Han Solo? How are the two rebel forces, which will probably look pretty similar, how will they play? Their play style is going to be quite different, I think.
James says they thought it was very cool and they always look forward to the show.
Excellent. That's cool. We'll see them again next time. Thanks, James. That's good.
Pretty happy with how this is turning out so far.
Yeah, looking very cool.
Got my little cheat sheet over here, so I'm like, okay, wait, and then they did this, and then, okay.
It's always handy. while we're waiting for that all that desert base to dry, I probably put too much, a little bit too much paint on the base. I'll let that dry. But now I'll just jump in and take over on this one. I get to paint these red stripes.
Rick just asked everyone if they watched Star Wars Rebels last night. He loves that show.
I did not watch it, but I haven't been watching it. So if you want to talk about it, that's absolutely fine with me. Apparently it was a really good ending. Some of my friends were quite excited about the ending. So is that the end of this, just the season, or the end of the series, Rick? Do you watch it at all?
No, I haven't seen it.
Okay. And what is he saying? Is that...
He hasn't responded yet.
If that was the end of it, it was the end of the series.
Okay.
I remember seeing commercials for it saying like series finale.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
Carl says end of the series.
Oh, there we go. Now I can go back and watch it all.
Yeah, I was gonna say now I can watch it without having to wait for episodes.
Yep. Binge watch the whole thing. How many seasons was it? I'm trying to work out what I'm getting myself into. So, one of the things you'll notice that, well, possibly notice I wasn't looking at the screen, I was looking at the speeder, but I put the speeder down so that I had a nice sort of firm position, so when I was painting the line down there, I could get a nice sort of smooth edge. So a little bit of practice and you can get nice straight lines like that. Or you can get some masking tape, tape that off, paint down the middle, or use an airbrush to spray it on. Lots of cool things you can do with that. And, okay.
People are saying 4
Four
seasons.
seasons?
Sorry, yeah.
Cool, no
That's
worries.
not too bad.
And Thomas says the show ended up adding a ton of lore to the universe.
Right.
That's what he liked about it.
Yeah. See, I'm gonna have to watch it now because Rick keeps mentioning all these things that he's like, Dave, you're a fan of Star Wars, right? And I'm like, yeah, I am. And he goes, well, what about this? And I'm like, you've just made me feel like I'm a fan.
He's out fanning you.
Yeah. Well, not just that he's out fanning me, but it's like, I said I was a fan, and yet here's
don't know.
information I don't have. What's going on there? So.
I like the way that this looks with all the...
So basically, get the right spot for it there. For this one, so we've got lots of large sort of white panels there. I didn't want to go straight for the bright red, so a little bit too bright. So I'm using a Vallejo Cavalry Brown, which is a great sort of first coat. I can go back afterwards with a mix of the Cavalry Brown and the red to get a stronger look. What do we think? Do I like just the those little panels, or should I do a whole stripe down the side? I'm kind of enjoying just the panels. What do people think?
I know what I...
What does David think?
I would do the whole stripe.
You would do the whole stripe?
He's like,
Because you don't have to do it.
Yes.
Right?
He's like, your
I'm not
opinion
liking it
doesn't
for
count.
I'm not liking this for any aesthetic reason. It's purely from a laziness point of view.
Carl says he loves the color.
It is a good one. I highly recommend it.
I'm like really having way too much fun.
Mark says stripe.
Yep. Stripe. Okay, so we've got 2 for stripe, 1 for panels. Give him another 30 seconds. You're only going to read out the ones that say stripe, though, aren't you?
No, Carl says stripe.
Yeah, Carl
3
said stripe.
times.
So that's 3. That counts as 3.
He said it 3 times?
Yes.
Oh, Carl.
I'm going to vote for whatever method doesn't add more work onto Dave's plate. So that we can actually get these miniatures delivered to whoever wins in a more timely manner.
Daniel says stripe too.
Okay. Son of a... Okay, you're all getting stripes. Everything's going to have stripes on it. Stripes it is, then.
Woohoo!
Is that just from you, or is that from the chat?
It's from me.
Nice one,
I
Leona.
was
Thank you.
the same thing.
Yeah. Okay. Stripes it is.
Now I'm having too much fun detailing this thing.
It is cool, though, isn't
Now
it?
that you told me these techniques, I'm like, ooh,
Yeah.
ooh, I can do this and I can do that.
How's that looking? You
It's
throw that
looking
under the
Let me
close
get
scan. Yep. There we go.
Let's see. Show you guys kind of what I've been doing.
Yeah.
So I added some.
Yeah, that looks great, yeah.
there. And what I actually did was I used the brighter silver, the aluminum that you gave me,
Yep.
and then what was the other one? This was the gunmetal, and so I kind of went in and filled that in too.
Excellent. That's cool.
This is looking cool. Battle damage. Okay, let's see. Do this other one.
Daniel says, it is the stripe you want, moves hand.
Excellent.
I gotta start remembering to bring my glasses whenever I go. I'm sitting here like, bad vision.
I was going to say, hang on. Don't you have... I thought you had glasses last time.
Yeah, I
you
just
did.
hate wearing them. I have 2400 vision. So I really should have my glasses on. That's why I'm like sitting here with like one eye, like trying to
Right.
squint.
Nice.
Dave, can we get Mia a monocle for next time that she's in here?
Can I have
awesome
a
would that be?
fancy monocle?
Yeah. Make her look like the Monopoly guy.
Yes.
Yep, totally. Rick, we need you to get on that.
Yes, I need a monocle.
Carl says, I have to go, but you guys are the highlight of my Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Fantastic.
Yay.
I suggest you get a better life.
No.
We're the highlight.
No.
No, okay.
Thanks, Carl.
Thanks, Carl.
Thank
Take the compliment, is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay,
Just run with it.
excellent. No, thanks for that. I'm going to take the stripe all the way off the edge. Is that what people want? I'm asking again. Wants to do it. Just no turning back. Okay. There we go.
Rick says, looking up monocles now.
Yes, I'm going to be fancy.
That is cool.
I feel like then I have to talk with an accent of some sort.
Nah.
And act posh.
Well, where was the Monopoly guy from?
I don't know.
Milton Bradley.
Well,
What's the Milton Bradley accent, though?
I don't know.
Is
Did
it
the
like,
Monopoly guy ever talk in commercials or anything?
Probably
Only in
not.
the commercials when like the Monopoly game has come back to McDonald's or something like that.
Right, okay. Yeah.
Also, Daniel says the Monopoly guy doesn't have a monocle.
Does
No?
he not?
Is it Mr. Peanut?
Yeah.
Mr. Peanut.
Ah.
The planner's peanut guy.
That's not
Not
so
as
good.
fancy.
Maybe just the top hat.
God.
Cursed.
I'm going to come in here and you guys
top
are going to
hat
have
logos.
a peanut costume for me or something to wear. Painting
Oh,
as
I
a
like
peanut.
that stripe. That looks good.
Yeah?
Yes.
Okay. There you go. Is everybody happy about the stripes? Great.
Yes, that looks better.
Thanks, Johnny. Resounding meh from the booth. Excellent. I think... yep, okay. Well, of course, with all this work on the stripe, doing the full stripe, I couldn't get in and do the highlights. That's on you, people. That's on you. There we go. How's that? Good. Great.
It's interesting how red that brown looks
Yeah. Yep,
against
it
the
is.
white or gray.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it looks great though, doesn't it? Really neat. Okay, I'm not going to take the stripe across the middle, just so as you know. but we'll be painting the little blaster at the back there. I grab the red. We have 5 minutes to go.
Oh no.
Hurry. You
I just want to at least like finish their little vehicle, so at least they have somewhere to.
Well, that'd be fantastic.
To plop on here.
I think, taking the extra time to do that.
The detailing,
really. That scraping, it really helps that out. Those bikes. Could you just push that forward a little bit, Mia? There we go.
There we go.
Yep. Oh. Guess it autofocus. There we go. Yeah, check it out. Was that autofocus or was that Johnny?
Yeah, it turned out really good.
Yeah. Nice. Okay. Just enough time to dash in with the red for a little bit of highlighting. So I've just basically done a 50-50 mix of GW's Mephiston red, which is a really nice mid red, and the Cavalry brown. So that'll go over there. Work really nicely. Okay.
See, I feel like just like with my regular drawing and painting, I do a lot better when it's not people.
Right, okay, yep. Yeah, sometimes the organic shapes can be sort of tricky. There's a lot of, I guess, a lot of regularity to highlighting and shading on hard edges. So, yeah, I can totally see that.
I like the one thing I love about painting miniatures is the aspect of like the thinking. So, where is this miniature at? Where is this character at? What kind of damage would they actually sustain?
Yep.
It's kind of fun to create like this whole character and world just through your painting.
Yep. And sometimes when you've gone through and done that, it's like if you don't tell anybody about it. And people just look at a miniature and go, "Oh wow, that looks really cool." They're probably subconsciously connecting, making all those sort of connections. And you don't have to explain everything in full, which is cool.
Daniel says, "I'm going to Google that guy after the stream. I live in Sweden, so I have no idea. So I guess tell Daniel where he can find you."
Which guy?
You.
That guy? Me guy?
Yes.
Okay. Dave Taylor. Dave Taylor Miniatures. So you're watching us on Facebook. If you go to Dave Taylor Miniatures on Facebook, you'll find me there. You can find me on Instagram as well, at Dave Taylor Miniatures. There is a website that Johnny has put up on the screen there, davetaylorminiatures.com. And that site is really my sort of resume site from a couple of years ago. So there's not a lot of new stuff and not a lot of painted miniatures.
Oh, well, now you tell me.
I told you that right from the start, because I was saying, hey, can you do this? Can you do that? And you're like, that's too long. Let's go for the short one. And it's mainly because I'm a bit crap. But
no, you're right.
Yeah. All right, I'm a bit crap. Is that what it is? Okay.
No, you're right about me.
He did. I said it a couple of times, but he was like, no, this is fine. But that's where you can find my painting. My miniature painting stuff. I like to paint toy soldiers, and I've painted lots of them over the years. I painted like 500 last year, 500 the year before, and the year before that, all that sort of thing. So I think I'm up around 10,000 miniatures painted in my life. Not that I've been counting. But where can people find your cosplay work?
Yeah, I don't have any painting work necessarily like that, but I do have my cosplay work. I'm on pretty much every social media under AniMia.cosplay, or AniMia official, and then on Facebook I'm AniMia.cosplay. I don't know why one happened before the other, and then they were gone, and so yeah, you can find all my stuff on there and my
That'd be cool.
Larger scale painting stuff.
Yep, excellent. So your fantastic work. So were you at a convention last weekend when the storm hit?
I was at Emerald City Comic Con.
Oh, wow. Awesome.
Which is technically my old hometown con because I'm from Seattle.
All right, okay.
So it's kind of neat to be able to go back and see how much it's grown because I remember 7 or 8 years ago you could just walk up day of con and go buy a ticket. And now they sell out, the day they get released. So
wow.
It's a really big, fun con.
That's awesome. A friend of mine went to... that con was on a steampunk panel and was sort of roaming the halls as well. He just recently released a book called The Lock. But yeah, great good friend of mine is Tommy Rice. Okay. He's this big, he's a power lifter, bodybuilder,
cool.
And former sort of, at some point he was on the San Francisco 49ers team. I'm not sure if he actually got a game or not, but yeah, really big guy, but really excited and enthusiastic, loves everything.
Oh, that's awesome.
Very cool sort of thing. So it was great seeing him do some promo videos before the show, and he's a great salesman as well.
Yeah.
Does a lot of great sort of wrestling kind of intros.
That like big kind of personality. Yeah.
Huge sort of stuff. So, but no, cool. That's good. That's very cool. What's the next con that you'll be going to?
See, I actually leave on Thursday to go to Lexington, so it's a quick turnaround for me.
What's the show there?
Lexington Comic Con.
Okay. Cool.
Really cool show.
Excellent.
All right. So I think I've got my little guys done.
Yep. Oh, time to wrap it up. I'm getting the wrapping up symbol. Okay, we'll wrap it up. But okay, so we're going to check out the...
So here's what I got done.
Finished off.
I put them back on their speeders.
Excellent.
So that way. There we go.
Yep. They look cool.
Look at them going.
Do you already like those?
Whee.
Nice.
My own little self-spinner. Here we go.
Actually, yeah. Well, we have the spinner there, but
and then
just didn't turn it on.
Here's the other guy. I like this one because he's kind of like looking back. Like,
yeah.
Look at you, but I'll still miss.
Yeah.
But
definitely cool. Okay.
I'm pretty proud of those.
Yep.
Yay.
Nice work. Thank you very much. I'm glad we invited you along to...
Yeah, of course.
Help sort of
and sorry for whoever gets mine.
I think it'll be fine. I think they'll be happy to get those. But yeah, so that's our show for today. Thanks very much for joining us. I think... what else should we look at? We've talked earlier on in the show. I talked about all the things we're going to do next week with the terrain building and so on. I've got some more work to do on the basing for the ATST, and the basing for the airspeeder as well. Same sort of thing. Oh, sorry. There we go. Yeah, it's still drying. I put so much paint on there.
Looks like wet sand.
Yep. So I think we mentioned as well, Star Wars Legion is released in your stores, your local gaming stores, on March 22nd. The core box, which has 33 miniatures, 8 plastic barricades, 15 dice, 3 movement tools, 1 range ruler, 8 unit cards, 35 upgrade cards, 14 command cards, 12 battle cards, 1 round counter, and 107.
That's a lot of stuff.
107 assorted tokens. All in that box. So that box and some of the 8 other Wave 1 products are all out on the 22nd. So head into your local store, place your pre-orders, and yeah, make sure that happens. Get that happening.
Yeah.
Head to our Facebook page, the Game Trade Media Facebook page, or ask to join or head to the Painting Happy Little Minis Facebook page and ask to join the group there. And check out the pinned post about how you can win all of the Star Wars Legion things we've been painting. We've got some terrain work next week that'll be part of that as well, so you'll be able to win that. And it should be absolutely awesome. Head to your local store, become part of the community, sit down, do some painting, talk to people who are doing painting there, help people get their miniatures painted and improve the experience, enhance the experience in the gaming store. But yeah, thanks very much for coming in, Mia.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely fantastic work. And I think that's it for today. So thanks very much.
Thanks, guys.
We'll see you in the gaming store.
Thanks for watching Painting Happy Little Minis. If you liked it, leave a like and a comment below, and make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any new content.